been raised by Deputy Derek Nolan. Deputy has 4 minutes to make an initial statement.
Thank you very much, Leasker and Corla. Minister, I know you're aware of Rosedale Special School and have visited the school. And it's a wonderful school that provides amazing, really amazing services for young people across Galway, Galway city and county. And it's very familiar to those public representatives who visited them. I visited a number of months ago with Deputy Kine, and we toured the school and saw the amazing work that people are doing under very difficult circumstances. The number of pupils in Rosedale Special School this year has increased to 26. It was 20. That has brought additional pressure on resources and on facilities that they require. Also, there's an issue because a lot of the children, as they get older, their demands are increasing. And there's a demand, an increased demand for what we're called changing benches. And what these are used for is to take children who are spent the majority of their time in wheelchairs, to give them a break from the confines of the wheelchair and to allow them to stretch their arms, stretch their legs, and to be comfortable. And it's also used to change children, because the children we're talking about, they can't walk, they can't talk, they can't feed themselves, and they can't go to the toilet. And the staff in these schools, these wonderful people, have to do that work. And they need extra beds in order to be able to perform that simple function of taking children out of their wheelchairs and changing them. And some of these children can require changing 4 or 5 times a day, and that can take up to 15 minutes a time and requires 2 people to do it. We're talking about people with severe, profound disabilities, both physical and intellectual, and the help that they require. In September of this year, Rosedale Special School applied for funding for 5 extra beds to accommodate the extra needs that they had with the level of difficulties that some of their students were facing, and because of the level of the new intake that they had of 5 extra pupils. They still haven't got an answer from the department. They've been refused initially, they've appealed, they've gone back, and they're at the end of their tether. And the fact that this has happened to some people who are doing such incredible work in such difficult circumstances is appalling. There's a constituent of yours, Minister, who spent an hour and a half on a bus from Gort to get into Rosedale Special School. He was in pain because the journey on the bus is very difficult, it's very confining, and it can actually cause quite distress. And when he got into school, he couldn't be taken out of his chair for quite a period of time because there was no spare bed to bring him onto. And yet, we're still getting this nonsense back and forth that this isn't to be provided, that this isn't something that the department should provide, that can be changed. And they've actually been asked, will they change the name of the bed that they require? The exact same bed, just change the name so it sounds a bit more educational. And this is unacceptable, Minister, and it needs to be fixed. Last Friday, the school had a queuing system in place. They had to queue so that the children could be changed. And this has to stop. I want you, Minister, if you can go back to the department, and whoever is dealing with this fracas, this absolute nonsense of a process, this bureaucratic nightmare that these children have had to suffer through, and just get this fixed. Just tell people this is €10,000 they require. €10,000 in the overall scheme of things. And do you know what's also scandalous, Minister, is that €30,000 has already been spent by the department putting in place the hoist that's necessary to lift the children out of the wheelchair and put them on the bed. The hoist is there, but there's no beds. We've paid for the hoist and we won't pay for the beds. This has to stop, Minister. And I'd ask you, and I know your intentions and your motivation this will be just as positive and as good as mine, to go back to the department and whoever's causing this nightmare, causing this nonsense, to fix it and get this solved for these kids. Thank you.